Hey YouTube, it's been a while since I made a video, and there's a good reason for that. I settled down in my new place, and so far it's so good, but there are some restrictions that I have, such as me not having a car in a place where everything is so spread out. Literally, you know, you could feel like you badly need a car just to get around. But luckily, so far so good. I'm enjoying everything, and I've been exercising a lot, and I'm noticing some changes in my body, where my body is becoming more toned, more, how do I say this, stronger, durable, and I'm kind of happy about that. Even my diet, my the food that I'm eating, I notice the effects that it's having on me, but I gotta lay low on the sugar. So in other words, just not to bore you with how I'm doing well, and the main reason why I was kind of avoiding making YouTube videos, or should I say, not bothering with YouTube, is because this is a topic on my head that I legit wanted to um, basically talk about and share this story to the world. And it's kind of like a touchy subject for me personally, but it's a subject that I still want to talk about because I feel like this subject alone might help people out there. Like, take this story as an advice and a suggestion, but it may not be the correct advice for you or for anyone that's listening, but it could be, you know, some form of wisdom if you guys think about it. And the reason why I chose this picture about undilated pupils and dilated pupils is because of all my time living on this planet, I never thought about body language that much or that deeply until recently, until something happened to me about 2 years ago, or a year ago, but it feels like 2 years. And what essentially happened to me kind of scared me, but also gave me a minor depression. Now, there was no physical harm that happened to me. However, there was, you could say, a mental harm on me. In some aspect, emotional harm. But when I say harm, I don't mean it like someone attacked me or someone damaged me. No. It was more like an internal struggle of me understanding of who I am. And to some extent, I kind of suffer an identity crisis because of this. So, just to get to the point, because I feel like I'm talking in circles and I might not be making sense to you, my audience, but I'm just gonna lay it down and try to say it simple as I can. Throughout my life, starting from my teenage years, I kind of struggle in terms of being romantic. And you could say that I'm romantically retarded, or I'm just romantically stupid. Like, I don't know how to become romantic. So, as you can guess, throughout my high school years, I never had a girlfriend. And I clearly did remember there were some girls that show interest to me, but because of my weirdness, my awkwardness, and to some extent to my stupidity, and maybe you could say my mental illness, but I wasn't that mentally ill. I was just weird. I was just a weird guy. I didn't really establish a romantic relationship. And also, to some extent, I am kind of below average in terms of the looks department, but I wasn't that ugly. But I was definitely below average. I was not hideous enough to no girl wanted, you know, to look at me, but I did. I clearly remember I did had some girls that showed some interest, but I did something stupid that kind of turned them off through my weirdness. So that being said, throughout my high school years, I didn't got that high school romance. Now, when I went to college, you could say same story, but it was a little bit more. I was a little more better at socializing because when you transition to college felt more freer, less restrictive, and you make your choices. Like, you don't have to be there, you make your choices. On top of that, there was no bullying, or at least there was no bullying that I witnessed. High school, oh, definitely there were bullies, there was definitely fighting. But college, there was none of that because we all had this sense of, okay, you know, we're adults now, stakes are higher. On top of that, you don't have to be there. You can be there if you want to be there. In other words, it's voluntarily. And that was the key thing about college. Everything is voluntarily. If you don't want to go to college, don't go to college. So, to get to the point, guys, because I'm making this a very long video. Eventually, I met my girlfriend. My first, well, not my girlfriend, but my ex. And at that time, I was happy, very happy, and I finally got a girl on my side. But there was something off about that relationship. I've been with her for almost 5 years. At first, I was genuinely happy, and we did have a good time. I clearly remember her saying that she always had a good time with me, and we had so many things in common. She was weird, just like I was. But unlike me, where my looks are kind of below average, she was definitely a woman with beauty. And despite that she was a woman with beauty, she still hung out with me. She still showed interest in me. But there was something off. And I always wonder if she was totally into me or totally not into me. But she still hung out with me. She still, we went out day nights. She even slept with me. But there was something off about that. Now, after the breakup, and it was a bad breakup, something interesting happened to me. And it involves with this picture here, eye dilation. For the first time in my life, when I cannot remember the last time when my eyes did this, but for the first time in my life, my pupil dilated towards a woman that I never met, never know, a complete stranger. And I'll admit, this stranger, she had beauty, but she was not my type. Like, It's hard to describe this. She definitely had beauty, but she was not my type. She wasn't like the type of girl that I would be eyeing on. And yet, my body, like, it had a mind of its own. And me, I was helpless in that moment. I was smiling at her, and my pupils dilated. And it gave me a minor depression when I felt that, because after that incident, I questioned myself, like, why I'm attracted to this person. Most importantly, why I did not experience this when I was going out with my ex. Because my ex, she had beauty, and I've seen men, gazing, eyeing on her, and yet my body never had that reaction towards her as I had towards this stranger. And this stranger, she was a coworker that I worked with for a year. But despite we were coworkers, we very rarely interacted. So I always wonder about that. I always wonder why, like, why did this happen? So I dig deeper about this whole eye dilation thing, and it turns out it's a body language that the human body has a mind of its own. Because from my understanding, eye dilation is involuntarily. You cannot control it. As a matter of fact, there are some research that I took pictures of that says that eye dilation cannot be controlled voluntarily. So consider this video, guys, as an introduction of my eye dilation story. And I'm gonna make separate videos about it in parts, so consider this as the introduction video. So until then, have a good night and thank you for watching, guys. I'm gonna end the video here, and goodbye.